So remember, yesterday we were talking about Act 1, giving Hamlet the reason to get his father's revenge, and Act 2, establishing some of how he might go about it. Act 3, this is the part where he gets to see the king's reaction that is going to be the proof that he was looking for. This Act 3, Scenes 1 and 2, was actually incorporated on the Act 2 study guide, so you've already answered these questions if you've answered that or seen my corrections to that. So this is the play they have, and we left out when we talked about the dumb show about to commence. They embrace. The queen looks lovingly at the king and he holds her close. This is describing the play that Hamlet's have put on. She kneels in front of him and makes a declaration of everlasting love with elaborate gestures. He raises her up, kisses her, and lays his head on her neck. Then he lies down in a bank of flowers with the actors have strewn on the floor. She watches as he falls and then leaves. The king lies sleeping for a few moments. A man comes in, takes the king's crown off his head, kisses it, kneels down beside him and pours something in his ear and goes out again. So the play reenacts where Claudius poured the poison in his brother's ear. The queen returns, finds her husband dead, and makes a great passionate display. The man comes in again with a few attendants and pretends to lament her. The attendants carry the body away. The man woos the queen with gifts. She seems unwilling at first, but then she accepts his love and embraces him. They go out. "What does this mean, my lord?" said Ophelia. "It's a kind of skulking," he said. "It means mischief. Perhaps the show represents the theme of the play." The speaker of the prologue entered and stood before them. "We'll know by this fellow. The players can't keep secrets. They'll tell us everything." "Will you tell us what this show meant?" "Yes, or any show you want him to show. If you're not ashamed to show, yeah, he won't be ashamed to tell you." "You're rude," she said. "You're rude. Let's watch the play." The prologue speaker began. "For us and for our tragedy, here we stop to your clemency. We beg your hearing patiently." He left. "Is this a prologue or an inscription engraved inside a ring?" "It's brief." "Like a woman's love," he said. The two players, dressed the king and queen, came in again. The queen put her arms lovingly around her husband's neck, and gazed into his eyes and spoke. A full 30 times the chariots of Phoebus have circled Neptune's salty waves and the earth itself, and 30 dozen moons in their shine have lit the skies 12 times, 30 since our love filled our hearts and our hands, reunited in sacred bands. The queen stretched and kissed him and then spoke. "And so many more journeys may the sun and moon make before our love is spent. But woe is me, you have been unwell lately, so far away from your witty and happy normal self that I have misgivings. Though I am distressed, please don't allow it to upset you. In a woman, fear and love are inseparable. Either they are non-existent or excessive. What my love is, you have seen. My fears are as great as my love. When there is love, little doubts lead to fears. Where little fears flourish, great love grows too." The king embraced her. "Faith, I must leave my love, and shortly too. My vital abilities are not what they were. You shall remain in this world alone, but honored by the cherished subjects. Will luck meet a man suitable to be your husband?" The queen was horrified. "No, don't say another word. A love like that would be treason in my breast. Let any second husband be a curse to me. Only women who have killed the first may marry the second." Hamlet had difficulty in staying silent and not attracting attention to himself. It was so bitter. Wormwood. The queen continued, "The motive for the second marriage is always money, never love. In the second marriage, I would be willing to kill you with every kiss from my husband." The king smiled. "I know you believe that, but we often change our mind. Good intentions require good memory. They are strong at birth, but wither at time. Like unripe fruit, they are firm on the tree, but drop without any provocation when they are ready. It is inevitable that we forget to fulfill our promises, especially the ones we make to ourselves. A hot head needs hot blood. When the head cools, so does the passion. Extreme emotions interact and dilute with each other. Grief and joy exchange places, the most delicate quirk of fate. The world is not forever. There is nothing strange in our love changing as often as our luck changes. That is the question we must answer. Does love lead fortune, or fortune lead love? A great man in decline will be deserted by his friends. The poor Ma advancing will be befriended by his foes. Fortune does tend those who are not in need. They shall never lack friends. Those who need friends discover they only ever had enemies in waiting. But to get back to what I was saying, our will runs so contrary to our fate's plans that our plans are invariably overthrown. Our thoughts might be ours, but their ends are out of control. So you say, You will wed no second husband, but your promise will die when the first lord is dead." The queen continued to implore the king, "May earth leave me hungry, and may heaven leave me in the dark. My days be restless, and may my nights be sleepless. When I think of joy, give me the opposite. Make what I have sources of my destruction, but here beyond pursue me with a lasting strife. If once a widow, I again become a wife." Hamlet drew his breath in sharply, loud enough for everyone to hear. If she should break that now. The king lay down, the queen sat behind him and placed his head in her lap. "That's solemnly sworn. Sweet, leave me for a while. I'm sleepy and I'd like to drift off." The king fell asleep and she removed herself gently. "Sleep, rock your brain, and misfortune never part us." The queen left the king sleeping. Hamlet smiled around his mother. "How do you like this play, madam?" "I think the lady protests too much," she says. "Oh, but she'll keep her word." "Have you seen this play before? Are you sure it's not offensive?" "Oh, no," said Hamlet. "It is all fiction. Fictional poisoning. No offense in the world." "What's it called?" "The Mousetrap." Good title, isn't it? The play is a representation of a murder that took place in Vienna. The duke's name is Gonzago. His wife is Baptista. You'll see. It's a controversial play, but so what? Your Majesty and all of us who have clear consciences can't be affected by it. Let the guilty wince. An actor entered. "This is Luciano, the king's nephew. You should be the chorus, my lord." "I could comment on what you and your lover do if you'd let me see it." "You are biting, my lord, very biting." "Soften my bite would cost some groans," he said, and winked. "Ever sharper," she said, "and even ruder." "That's what you get from husbands," he called the actor. "Come on, begin. Murder? Pox. Stop pulling faces and begin. Come. The bird of death is screaming for revenge." The actor began. He knelt beside the sleeping king. "Evil thoughts, violent hands, the poison is ready, the right time, no one watching. A rank mixture of poisonous weeds collected at midnight, with a witch's curse 3 times over. Your natural magic and deadly properties will supplant a wholesome life. He's poisoning him in the garden to steal his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story's translated. It's written the best Italian. You will see how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's life. Look, the king's getting up." "What, a frightened action?" Claudius was staggering forward, looking desperately ill. "What's the matter, my lord?" said Gertrude. "Stop the play," cried Polonius. The actors stopped. They looked confused. Claudius was breathing in fast pants. "Give me some light. Go," he shouted. So Hamlet's got his evidence. Claudius is affected, and so that's his proof. Attendants were running for candles. Claudius made for the door and locked her in, leaving Hamlet and Horatio alone. "So let the wounded deep go and weep," said Hamlet, "and let the uninjured heart play. Uninjured heart play. Heart is a deer. Because some must watch while others sleep. That's the way of the world. Wouldn't that speech, together with a rich costume and 2 rosettes on my shoes, give me a job as an actor if all else fails? At least a half a share. A whole one," said Hamlet, "because you should know by now, my fellow Dane, this kingdom's lost Jove himself and is now ruled by a peacock." "You might have used some rhyming." "Oh, good Horatio, I take the ghost's words for a bet of 1,000 pounds. Did you see?" "Clearly, my lord. When you talked of poisoning, I saw everything." Hamlet ran elatedly to the door and cried out, "Aha! Some music. Come, the recorders. The king doesn't like the play, and he doesn't like it. Come, some music." Rosencrantz and Guildenstern appeared, and Hamlet grinned at them. "My good lord, can I have a word?" "Sir, you can have a complete history." "The king, sir. What about him?" "In his apartment, seriously unwell." "Drunk?" "No, my lord, angry." "You would be wiser to tell his doctor, because if I were to treat him, it would perhaps plunge him into a far greater anger." "My good lord," said Guildenstern, "pay attention, and don't change the subject all the time." Hamlet nodded. "I'm listening. The queen, your mother, is very upset and has sent me to you." "You're welcome," he said. Guildenstern's face showed his frustration. "No, my lord," he said, "this mock courtesy is inappropriate. If you'd like to give me a proper answer, I'll be able to deliver your mother's message. If not, your dismissal of me and my return will end my business." "Sir, I can't." "Can't what?" "Give a proper answer. Don't you know my brain's diseased?" "But, sir, whatever answer I can give you, or rather, as you said, my mother, so no more of this, be to the point." "Then this is what she says. Your behavior has amazed and astonished her." "A wonderful son that can astonish a mother like this, but there is something else that follows. She wants to talk to you in her room before you go to bed. We will obey her even if she were 10 times our mother. Do you have any more business?" "My lord," he said, "you loved me once." Hamlet wiggled his fingers. "I still do, by those pickers and stealers." "My dear lord, why are you so unhappy? You're only closing the door to help from your friend." "Sir, it is the lack of promotion." How can it be that you have the support of the king himself for your succession in Denmark? Yes, but while the grass grows over silly horse starves, the proverb is somewhat moldy. Some actors came with recorders. So in this end of the scene, Hamlet and his friends are talking about his mother and how she wants him to come to them, and everybody still thinks Hamlet is crazy. They don't really know that he's put this play on, and they don't really know that he's plotting to kill the king.